Okay, 8th graders, today we're talking about systems of linear inequalities. And our essential question is, how can you sketch a graph of a system of linear inequalities? So, let's first take a look at this first section. It says to match the linear inequality with its graph. So, I would say that we need to change this into slope-intercept form. So I would subtract 2x from both sides. So y is less than or equal to negative 2x plus 4. And we can see that plus 4 down 2 over 1, this is inequality number 1, and therefore this is inequality number 2, without even having to solve it. Okay, consider the system of linear inequalities given in activity 1. So here they are listed again. Use colored pencils to shade the solutions of the two linear inequalities. So here we're shading below. And on this one, we're shading above. So when we graph them both on the same plane, or as a system, we can see that the solution to the system is only this section, because that's where they're both shaded. Here we have just green, here we have just purple. Our actual solution to our system is that section where they're both shaded. So the unshaded region here represents, these are not solutions to either inequality. This section is the solution of the system. This section satisfies one of the inequalities, and this section satisfies one of the inequalities. But this is our answer, the section where they're both shaded. Alright, so we'll also have to write systems of linear inequalities. And so looking at this graph, we need to figure out each of our equations. So if I look at this dotted line, I know that that's going to be either less than or greater than. Looks like it's crossing at 1. So y is less than or greater than, and it's going down 2 over 2, so negative 1x minus 1. And since it's shaded below the line here, it's going to be less than. This line is going to be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to because it's solid. It's crossing at negative 3, and it's up 2 over 1, so 2x. And this one is also shaded below the line, so it's less than or equal to. Alright, let's take a look at the real world application. You have at most 8 hours to spend at the mall and at the beach. You want to spend at least 2 hours at the mall and more than 4 hours at the beach. Write and graph a system that represents the situation and how much time could you spend at each location. So, we know that we have at most 8 hours, so less than or equal to 8. And we have some time to spend at the beach plus some time to spend at the mall. So my equation is x plus y is less than or equal to 8. And I want to spend at least 2 hours at the mall and more than 4 hours at the beach. So I want x to be greater than or equal to 2, at least 2 hours at the mall, and I want y to be greater than 4, because that's more than 4 hours at the beach. So let's graph each of these. X is greater than or equal to 2. Looks like that. And greater than will be in this direction. Y is greater than 4. Will look like that. And we would shade in this direction. And then I need to change this one to say y equals, so I subtract x. So y is less than or equal to negative 1x plus 8. So I would start at 8, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And this is a solid line. So I need to be to the right of the 2 line, above this line, and below this line. So this little itty bitty section right here is my solution when I consider all 3 of the things that I would like to do. So at each location I could spend 2 hours at the mall and 6 hours at the beach. I could spend 3 hours at the mall and 5 hours at the beach. And I could spend, I think that's it, because if I go down to 4, that's not more than 4. So I could spend 2 or 3 hours at the mall and 5 or 6 hours at the beach. Okay, so your homework assignment is just 2 questions. Graph the 2 inequalities, and you only shade the section where they would both be shaded. And I'll see you in the morning. Have a great night.